Before we dive into today's episode, I have something truly special to share. Next September, I'll be leading an intimate women's retreat through the south of France and northern Italy, and you're invited. Picture this: mornings exploring the colorful markets of the French Riviera, afternoons sipping wine, and a hotel view with golden Mediterranean sunsets. Whether you love photography, food, or just want to reconnect with your playful creative self, this trip is designed for you. Spots are limited, so if all this sounds like your kind of adventure, please visit tourwithabsolutely.com and look for the tour France and Italy with Crystal. You can also send me a message or check out the show notes. Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Welcome to the show, Maite. How are you today?
Thank you, Crystal. Well, I'm really, really good today, I think. Although the weather is a bit not very good, but
It's a little cold
everything
outside.
is fine other than that. Yeah, it's getting chilly and dark,
Yeah,
the
just
winter is
typical
coming.
Paris winter is arriving.
Totally.
So you've lived in Paris for many years now, but you're originally from Athens, Greece. Tell me a little bit about that and what brought you to Paris.
My parents are actually, my dad is Greek and my mom is French. So I grew up in Athens, Greece, and I had a French scholarship there. And then I moved to France when I was 18 for my studies. And that's about it. And then I stayed in Paris. Yes.
So you really fell in love with the art and the culture here. At 18, you were pretty young when you moved here. Were you wanting to leave Greece, or it was just you fell in love and your work was more based here?
Actually, in the beginning, I really didn't know what was about. I mean, I was half French, so I knew I could come to Paris, but I had no idea culturally how it was because I grew up in a Greek, let's say, environment. And so when I came here, it was very strange in the beginning because the mentalities are so different from Greece and Athens and Paris. Very, very different. I would say that the Greek culture is a bit more close to the American culture, like very positive people, very outgoing. Okay, the weather is nice, of course, and all that. And when I came here, it was a bit very different. People were more like, I don't know, gloomy. So no,
Yeah.
I mean moody, like complaining a lot, and it was very strange to discover that. But aside from that, I really fell in love with the city, with the architecture, the food, and being able culturally to see so many things like movies, theater, shows, dancing, singing, all these things that are happening in the cultural scene here in Paris.
Yeah, I imagine as an artist, there's so much inspiration here, as we all know, on a daily basis. And also from studying here, you got to see even more of that. And after you graduated, you also worked for Le Monde for 12 years. That's a French newspaper. Can you tell people a little bit more about that?
Yes, this was a very interesting experience. It was one of my latest kind of experiences, like it was in the past 10 years. 15 years. uh, just before the COVID, actually. I left Le Monde before the COVID. But yeah, it was actually very interesting. French kind of culturally, let's say, being able to work in such a big newspaper and see exactly how the minds of all the journalists were working, how they were making the articles. More specifically, I was actually working in a department when it was just me and the French cartoonist Plantu, who is a very famous cartoonist for political cartoons. And that was extremely interesting because we got to travel around the world to defend how you say this, freedom of speech and freedom of expression
Mm-hmm.
for cartoonists around the world. And it was very, very, how to say, I learned a lot as to what press cartoon is. Actually, I don't do press cartoon, but it was very interesting to see how somebody who loves politics and who is very into making cultures come together and resolving conflicts, but through drawing or making statements. And the press, that was really very interesting.
Yeah, I imagine
So
that
it was,
was
yeah.
very different. Yeah, because like there's so much controversy, especially in France, around some of the political cartoons, and it must have been really interesting to see how to make that funny, how to make that smart, and what you said about traveling the world to defend, freedom of speech. So
Mhm.
he would do conferences, or he would just from traveling to make the news and to make the cartoons.
Actually, we had like workshops and conferences for schools. We traveled a lot with the Institut Français, with the network, the embassy and network from the French institutes all around the globe. So that would included doing interventions. I don't know if you say this in English, actually. Conferences, let's say,
Yeah.
and workshops for schools and universities, and gatherings with cartoonists from different countries. And so we had some quite memorable experiences with that. Also, he had founded an organization that is called Cartooning for Peace, and he founded that with Kofi Annan back in the days. And so this network of cartoonists were also very invested into this movement of the freedom of expression. And now this organization is very big. I mean, it has grown a lot, and even they provide kind of legal support for people who are, I mean, journalists or and press cartoonists who have problems in their current situations and countries where it's very problematic to be able to express yourself, and if you publish a cartoon that is not viewed very well by the powers that
Yeah.
are at the moment, yes, they can be tricky. Some people go to jail, and so their work consists also into defending the rights.
What an
And
interesting concept.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's super super interesting. And I was very very pleased to be part of that for 12 years. Well, during that time, what I also did, I was also archiving his entire collection of cartoons digitally, and I mean the physical drawings, which were almost 30,000.
Wow.
And so I actually like doing this kind of bookworm kind of work. It was so interesting to just to have a the whole scape of the contemporary French history and political history and cultural history and also international history of what was happening in the world since I think it started in the 60s. So that was even before my time.
Yeah. And then what led you to break off from that and start your own career and talk about what you do now?
Um, when I came to France, I think I was my dad was a painter, an artist, but he was painting marine paintings like boats and that kind of things. And my mother was a choreographer. When I came to Paris, I was like, okay, I'm going to study languages because I know that, and I mean, I can speak a few languages. That would be a nice start. You can apply to anything. But I had in mind to start working as an artist. But then I had to work, and so it didn't really happen. I was doing that on the side. And after a moment, I just figured, I was like, COVID helped, of course, because it was a time of introspection. And although I was working on the side, I was really thinking about that. And I was thinking, okay, time doesn't stretch infinitely. So I have to do something, and maybe I have to do it now.
Yeah.
So that's that's why. I mean, Um, it was the time when Plantu also was retiring from the newspaper, not from his various activities, but from the newspaper. So I was thinking, oh, that will be a great time actually to start doing my own thing now, because I have so many things I want to say, I want to share, and I mean it's now or never. So that's how it happened. It started.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people during the pandemic decided, okay, it's time to do what I want to do. You know, it was like eye opening. And it's great that you're able to break off and pursue a full time artistic career. And your drawings, your paintings, they're so beautiful. They combine human nature, dreams, symbols, Greek mythology, cinema, fairy tales, and everyday life. Talk about some of the mediums you use.
Um, right now, I mean, in the beginning, I was using a lot of acrylic and oil painting, and I was also drawing things by pens on pencil, and then I was colorizing that. But nowadays, I mean, the latest work that you can see on my website, I'm mostly working digitally because I was able to make my own brushes, to have the feel of the pastel that I really like to have some texture, a lot of texture actually, and something that makes things very soft. And I didn't want to do flat illustrations. I really wanted to bring this artistic quality to them. And right now, I found this balance, and so that's what I'm exploring at the moment. I mean, for the past 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, and I love how you incorporate color into your drawings. It's so beautiful. How do you choose the colors you're going to use, or what inspires that?
For me, colors are directly linked to emotions. So I like strong palettes, which means very contrasting colors and bright colors, like um, the how you call these, the principal, the main colors.
Yep, the principal colors
Uh,
you can say as well.
the principal, yes. So I'm using those a lot, and I like combining them to create, yeah, this balance between the tones and so what I do is usually I have an idea, I kind of sketch it somewhere in a with a pen. I have so many notebooks around me all the time, and I'm doing a little sketch of an idea of something that I really want to depict. And then I start thinking about what kind of mood I would like to convey, and what kind of palette I would like to use. But usually the colors are quite pop, which means they pop up a lot, and I really like the 70s kind of vibe in the colors as well. So they're quite strong.
Yeah, you can see that a lot in your work, along with the Greek mythology you work in. And tell
Mm-hmm.
people a little bit about what you want to express with your work. How do you want to influence the world with your work?
I would like to make people feel good. And would like to show that there is a lot of beauty around us, that there are things that they're really worth observing and noticing. I mean, of course, there are a lot of problems in our world today. There always have been, and I guess there will probably always will be. But uh, in the same time, I think all the people who are in the creative businesses, um, and who are creative, they have to focus on something else than just what's happening in the world. So, and it gets expressed very differently according to if we sing or if we draw or if we dance or I don't know. And for me, it's mostly I'm a very much I like observing things. I like to watch things. I mean things like details, very detaily details, and I can spend a lot of time looking at the way I don't know people, their hands, what they're wearing, how they stand, how they walk, how they talk. It can be a flower. It can be I don't know. It could be anything, literally. It's just that this observation takes a lot of time, and the idea is to try to find the magic behind all this. Because actually, I think when you look at something um, a lot, after a while, it becomes um, you can see qualities that you haven't seen before on the first impression. And then I think things start talking to you in a way. I mean, they start talking to me. And that's how that's what I'm trying to grab, and I would like to share that with people, because people are, they don't have the time necessarily to, to spend the time looking at things, and the way I do at least. And so it's a way of saying, look, okay, look, this can be this or that. And I like things that are not necessarily literal, like plain, very realistic necessarily.
Yeah, I think that really shows through on your work, and we need people who will take time to think about these things and work on them and like follow, wherever they may lead them and create something beautiful out of that. And it really shows in your work. Like you said, not everyone has time to sit around and contemplate life or a hand or whatever, and they may not even get the same outcome as an artist like yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And
It's a translation. Sorry, excuse me.
yeah,
It's kind yeah, a translation of what I perceive of my reality being, and showing that to people and sharing it with them.
I love that. And talk a little bit about when you work with people on their dreams. You also paint people's dreams. Talk about that process.
So this is a project I started yeah, in 2021. Actually, I'm a great dreamer. I dream a lot. Like I always have dreamt a lot since I was a child. And I mean, I write my dreams. I write them down, not all of them, but have quite a collection so far. And so the idea came to me because I was talking with other people, and some people were telling me, "Well, I dream a lot too." And when people were telling me the dreams, I was like, "Oh wow, that would be so interested to try to depict that, like to create a still image of something that is so volatile, so you cannot really grasp it." So that's how the idea came, and I said, okay, I definitely have to draw that, because this is enigmatic, mysterious at the same time. Um, it's something very intimate, because it's the internal, interior world of subconscious of a person, and it's something that is very personal. And at the same time, I think it's something that is very universal, because around the world, I mean, everybody dreams, even the people who don't think they dream and they don't remember their dreams. But it's something that we all do, and we spend so much time doing that. I mean, during the time while we're sleeping. And I thought that it would be amazing to create some sort of how to say, not a cartography, but just start um, getting these dreams and doing something with them, and then having something to show to other people and see, I mean, if it makes sense or not. But of course, it's my interpretation, and it's not, I mean, it's an artistic interpretation. It's not an analytical one. But I think I'm fascinated by this. So it's really a project that I want to develop more.
Yeah, I love the whole concept because it always comes up about dreams and what do they mean, and it's so hard to remember our dreams. So like even for yourself, like to make sure you can remember them, it's important to keep a
Mhm.
pen and paper nearby to write them as soon as you wake up.
Yes, and sometimes I take my iPhone and I just, I press record, and I still have my eyes closed, and I'm just trying to tell the dream before it evaporates.
Yeah.
And this is a very good technique as well.
Have you found any
Um,
patterns in the dreams that you've been depicting or any patterns in dreaming in general?
yes, I think the patterns I found so far is that I think men and women have a slightly different approach to their dreams. I think women are more emotional, so the dreams are more they convey emotions, sensations. And I mean, from the people I interviewed and the dreams I got, it was very obvious to me that there was a little bit like a different, how to say, a different color in the dreams, which
Yeah.
you can't really see in the way I'm depicting them. But yeah, and I did a little book about dreams, and I just received it today from printing, so I'm pretty happy about it. It's going to be on my shop soon, I guess, on my website. Um, but um, but yeah, they're different, and at the same time, I think everybody can recognize themselves or something that they dream about in somebody else's dream. So I think this is something that can speak to many people. Um,
Definitely. Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to see the book. And how has Paris changed your work? How has living here developed or changed your work or the way you work?
Living here, I think we're very, I mean, how can I say, blessed, lucky? I don't know. But in Paris, I mean, it's very lively. People come from all over the world. It's very international. At the same time, culturally, it's really, there's a lot of things to do. So many museums, so many places to go and to exchange with other artists. And I think this is, and it's also in the center of Europe, kind of. So it's easy from Paris to travel elsewhere. Um, and all this makes it a very culturally a very appealing place. Um, and so how it changed, I mean, I think mostly for my work, it's just constantly feeding it. Let's say I'm getting um, feedbacks from other artists, um, and it's very nourishing. I don't know how to express that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way. Nourishing. It
Yeah.
inspires you on a daily basis that you find new inspirations as an artist.
I, you have constant inspirations that you can find from, I don't know, walking outside the streets because um, in other cities, for example, in London, I think the distances between the metro stations are very big. I mean, long. It takes a while to walk if you want to walk, and you don't necessarily all the time have things to see, like I don't know, shops and animation people everywhere. There are some spaces that are not necessarily occupied. But in Paris, it's not exactly like that. I think you can find people anywhere, and I find that very interesting.
Yeah, what are some places that you go to find inspiration in Paris? There's certain districts you like, certain museums. Like, where do you go when you're trying to find inspiration?
Um, there it depends of the kind of inspiration I'm looking for, but I really like drawing in cafes, observing people who are sitting and or in the metro because everybody's staring at their phone, and it's funny. I actually started doing a few. I did a few paintings on that um, at some point, but also walking around the city in areas like I don't know. I really like La Rue Sainte-Anne, Richelieu-Drouot, that area near Bourse, Rue Vivienne. I often go to the BNF, Bibliothèque Nationale de France, which is Rue de Richelieu. This place is extremely super inspiring. So many books there. I mean, I love books. And you have books about everything, art, and wow, it's just fantastic. So yeah, I often go there at least once a week. And then other cafes where I go, I really like cafes where they have nice, good coffee shops. There are some. I live in the 20th district of Paris, so there is a very good cafe around here that's called the Dancing Goat, and they're very friendly.
That's a
They're
great
super nice.
name.
The coffee is great, and I like the place because there's a lot of light, and it has space.
And how would you
Um,
define creativity in your own words?
I think creativity is something that we all have, um, but it's a way actually of, I would say, of observing the world, being curious and open about things around us, and trying to make something with that. It could be anything. It could be, I don't know, cakes, clothes, drawings, paintings. It can be anything, but it's something that is very expresses that expresses through a person, through the artist. So the artist uses what exists, and then he absorbs it, he digests it, and then he gives it back with his own, with a bit of his own soul and heart, I would say.
I like that. That's a great definition. And what's the best advice that you've ever received that you want to share with other people?
The best advice that ever I have ever received would be keep doing what you love doing, really. What you feel like you follow your heart.
Yeah,
Always
definitely.
follow your heart. Yes, yes.
And those curiosities, right?
And be open to what's around you. Like live. I mean, you have to taste life. You have to feel it like in your mouth. You have to, yeah. And being curious is a way of seeing also what other people are doing and how they are also connecting to what's happening around them, and how they translate it, and yeah, what they do with it.
And
Hmm.
what advice do you have for people that are searching for their creative talents? They might not think they are creative, they don't feel inspired to do anything. Like, what advice would you give to them?
The advice I would give to people would be follow your heart again, and like do some what makes sense to you specifically. Don't try to see what other people are doing or to compare. Just do what you feel, but then you have to do it very, 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 very thoroughly and seriously. I mean, you have to spend a lot of time doing it. And then you get to see if you really, really, really like it, or if it's not exactly what you want to do. But it takes a lot of dedication, I would say, but it's so gratifying.
And has your work changed since becoming a full-time artist? Is it tough to get paid, Like does it take any of the joy out of it? Like running a business is different than just being an artist. Talk a little bit about that.
I think nowadays it's impossible to run a. I mean, if you have to make an income out of something. It becomes your business, and so if it becomes your business, you have to be able to get income for that. Otherwise, it's a hobby, and then you have a side job. But when you decide to be full time doing what you like doing and what you want to be paid to do, you have to think really like a businessman and think about all the aspects of the activity that you could have, like the promotion, the marketing, finding the prospecting, finding clients, and making that happen. I would say it's difficult, kind of difficult, because it's not the creative kind of only aspect, but it's intricate. It goes together because you cannot do one without the other. Otherwise, if the work is disconnected completely from the reality of things, it's okay if you do it for a hobby, but you can't really make a living out of it. So I think there
Definitely.
are aspects, yeah, to take into consideration. But
And
it's
what are
the
you
same thing. You have to be curious and, learn and do
Yeah, learn as you
things.
go, right? We're all just learning every day.
Yes, yes,
And what
yes.
are you most excited about for the future? What projects are you working on?
Well, I've just had this little artist booklet that I was doing. So for the dreams and nightmares that I just received from the print. So I'm really happy about that. It's going to be on my shop on my website soon. And I also did a calendar on Greek mythology. So I'm just working on that right now. So I'm a bit I'm a bit late, but I have to. It will be ready for, I think, within the next 15 days or something. I mean, during the month of November, and that will be also on my shop. So these are the two things that I'm doing, like the end of this year, and then I'm gonna start continue. I mean, continuing working on my dreams and nightmares, like for exhibition things, and to develop this project into a bigger project.
Yeah, I really can't wait to see where the dreams go or what everything will go and tell people where they can connect with you online, buy your work, commission you. Where can people connect with you?
People can connect with me on my websites, which is maiteleon.com. I also have an Instagram page, which is Maite underscore Leon underscore illustrations. And then I'm also on LinkedIn and is it Facebook? But I don't really use Facebook that much. So, but those are the main. And I'm also on Behance. If you just type my name, Maite Leon, you can find my different socials.
Perfect. Well, I'll share all of that in the show notes. So make sure you click and check out more of Mai Tai's beautiful works. And thanks so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you very much, Crystal, for sharing this with your audience. It's been great.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.